She's supposed to be some kind of like a lady who's a botanist, but she's kind of crazy, and she's got all these cats and stuff, and
I could see you doing that.
and
What's it for?
and then she kind of rapes this kid that comes to like take her cats and stuff away. So I don't know. It's I don't know what it's for. It's like some TV thing, pilot thing, and there's neighbors. Who knows?
You'll be great.
What time is your
I'm
audition?
good luck. Yeah.
I think it's at 2:15.
Okay, well, we'll be over soon.
Okay.
What time is it now?
It's
Part 2 is going on. We're doing it already.
Where
Now,
is it?
we left off. Where did we leave off
With
before
her
we
birthday.
change?
Oh,
Her birthday. We're gonna have a party.
We're going to have a party. But she's not going to have a party, but you're going to one.
you're gonna go to your
I'm-
friend. Who's your friend having a birthday?
It's Georgiana. Well, I knew her as Georgiana Steele, but she used to be married to. Remember Peter and Gordon? She was married to Gordon Waller.
Oh, okay. No. Oh no, I don't.
The
know
singing group Peter and Gordon.
them. I don't know them. But
Yeah, you
that
do.
doesn't. Well, that just. I had.
What song did they sing
Oh,
Yeah.
they
that
had,
they, that they made famous? I mean, they're famous.
they had like about 3 or 4 hits that were really big. Or it was around the Beatles time.
Hmm.
The
That's a while back.
60s, yeah.
See. Now, you've been around. Then you must know Mitzi McCall. And
I know the name, but
Oh.
I don't know her.
who are some of the people you work with?
Mel.
Besides Mel Brooks?
Mel, Carl. I worked with John Travolta. I worked with Henry.
What did you do with them?
I did an episode of Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh.
So that was
That's so
fun.
great.
Yeah.
That must have been fun, huh? You
It
met all
was,
those guys.
yeah, and let's see who else. I saw that you did Hawaii Five-0 because I thought I remembered you. Did you do it when Fred Baum was producing?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
And I
remember
met. So
any of
I
the
met.
producers.
Who was that really famous?
I did a lot of the guest stars, and then I went, and then I met an agent that finally put me up for that because I didn't do any for a while, and then I did 3 guest star roles, kind of in the latter part of it, not in the early part of that. And then he had me play a regular. I was a regular on it the last season. The last season.
Oh, okay.
I was a regular with Bill Smith.
Oh yeah,
William
he wasn't producing. He passed in '88, so he was.
I don't know.
Gene Simmons, that's who it was. Not the
Not-
the rock star.
not the
but
rock star.
The actress Gene Simmons.
You're
She
right.
was in a Hawaii Five-0 that I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She was a great talent.
It's fun to go
yeah.
there, though, wasn't
Beautiful woman.
Yeah.
was
Oh
fun.
yeah.
It was
she
fun
was
to go to
fun.
Hawaii.
Yeah. And at the Kahala Hilton, which
Yeah.
I guess doesn't even exist anymore.
it? No,
But you know who
really?
I
Oh,
met there?
no.
Freddie Silverman and Danny Arnold.
Wow. So you were with the big time.
Yeah. And so, but they were fun, and I didn't know better. And when you're a kid, you can get away with anything. It was like, yeah, well, so what, And so they used to, the best thing about it, and when you're really young, you can eat anything you want to. And so they used to have macadamia nut ice cream with hot fudge. So I loved that.
Oh, yeah.
Now you've seen the difference of when you worked in Hollywood beginning as today. Can you talk a little bit about the difference?
Well, it is.
What-
It's really different in that everything now is electronic. Everything is the pay scale compared to the cost of living.
Oh,
pay
it's the
scale.
union. The unions just screwed us over by merging like that. I mean, good Lord, we don't get any money for anything. It doesn't even pay for our gas money and lunch. I mean, it's like you do a play and you gotta have to drive to Pasadena, and I live in Topanga County. They wanted me for this play, and it's like just driving back and forth every day. I'm too old. I don't even want to do that.
Well,
It's
and
it's just
they've
too
had
much.
too many
And
contracts.
they want to pay you $50 a night, and that doesn't pay for gas money back and forth and eat food.
I know, and the thing
like
is,
ridiculous.
what happened was somebody asked me the other day about. Okay, here's a perfect example. in the day, I thought if you were doing a movie, especially an independent movie, you had to put up a completion bond. And someone explained to me that the completion bond isn't for the actors, it's for the distributors.
If an actor gets killed or
something like that.
You'll be able to like
But
go on with the film.
then somebody told me that at one time, SAG made you put up whatever your budget was plus 10% for, in case something happened where you were over budget, at least the actors would get paid.
Well, it was for the actors a little
Yeah. And so I just did a movie and I didn't get paid for the second week. And I called up SAG and I thought they were our friends. I thought they worked for us. And their attitude is, well, they defaulted. And I go, well, what do you mean they defaulted? And they said, well, they defaulted and so there's no money. I said, but whatever happened to completion bonds and all these other things that you have to put up for security or whatever?
To be
so their attitude was, well, I wasn't the rep on the show, so I don't know anything about it. And I said,
and you're talking to
listen,
you're talking to Screen Actors
that's
Guild.
you know, you're saying that. I want you to talk more about that because you know, I'm a delegator, and you're not the first one to come on camera and talk about that. It's really interesting because this needs to be talked about.
Addressed.
So please let her explain
it's.
it.
I said, well, what happened to it? She goes, well, I wasn't the rep on it, and ever since the two unions merged, they kicked everybody just about out of it from AFTRA is gone. I mean, they're not even there, and I don't know who from SAG is still, you know, working there. But every time you call there now, you're put on hold. And they also tell you that they're underrepresented. You get a voicemail. And I was so frustrated. I said, why am I paying dues? You know, where's the dues money? And I remember going to a SAG meeting where they were complaining that the reps all have health care. And the reps have pensions, and the reps have everything, and the actors have nothing. And then they keep raising the limit, and they say it has nothing to do with them, you know, raising the limit. It's the insurance companies who keep raising it, because at one time you had to make $1,000 within a 9-month period, and then you had to wait the 3 months or something, and then you could get health care. Now there's nothing, and then they say, well, as long as you did 3 SAG shows, or well, now it's SAG AFTRA, but shows, you could go to one of their clinics, but you can only see certain doctors, and you can't go, like, say you're sick today, and you go, you know, I don't know, something's wrong, I've been throwing up for 3 days, I should get in to see a doctor. So you thought you could go to, you know, the health center, because that's what it's called the Bridge program.
Yeah,
okay. So I went there and they said, oh, well, that's $65 to, you know, a minimum of 60. That they wanted their money. I go, well, what do you mean? It's always been like $25 and you can see a doctor. And they go, well, no, that's only if it's in the Bridge program. You can only get one specific thing, you know, like say you go and you have a rash on your back or something like that. And as long as, and now this is where it really gets you, they go, well, as long as the rash isn't anything that's a communicable disease or something like that, we will see you and treat you. But if there's anything wrong with you, then we won't treat you. And it was like, I mean,
what?
It was like, they ask you, like, well, do you have HIV or AIDS or herpes or gonorrhea or syphilis or any of those diseases? They ask you. And it's like, well, no, you know. And they go, well, that's fine. I mean, this is what they tell you. And they go, well, that's fine. But if we test you and something is wrong, you know.
If you have one of those, you're going to pay for it.
Right.
They really told you that?
I swear to God, I was like, I'm never coming back here. You know, it's like, I have a sore throat, you know, well, it better not be any disease that's, you know.
Oh, I don't know what's going on.
It
I
was
really
like,
don't know what's going on.
they tell you all these things, and you know, SAG tries to tell you that there are no two contracts that are the same either, you know,
Right.
if about that, because of the new media, low budget, this, that, and the other thing. And someone asked me the other day, he was in SAG and then got out for a while and wanted to get back in, and he said, well, what is the day rate? I said, I don't know. It's different on every contract. He goes, no, well, what's like the minimum? And I go, I don't know. It's different on every contract. There is no set. I mean, I used to know the rates. I used to
We
know
all did.
everything.
Yeah, there was a time
But
we all did.
now it's nothing, and you can do a SAG job for as little as
That's
50.
nothing.
Well,
That's
nothing.
Deferred.
But also, yeah, deferred. But
As little as $50.
as $50.
Yeah.
The average out there, when you look at it, it's $100 a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Background people are making more.
Yeah, the extras are making more than the actors that are in the show.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, they must have better unions.
No,
than
the
us.
same
It's
union.
the same
No,
union?
well, now
Oh,
that's
wow.
another interesting thing which I found out, that if you work in Barstow or Bakersfield, which is like considered a 100-mile radius, and I don't know where they consider it from, if they consider it from the SAG office, where the production office is, or wherever, SAG does not have jurisdiction over background.
Right.
Even if it's a SAG film or you're a SAG person and it's a background, and then they say, well, we have no jurisdiction over that if it's background. So then, I mean, they tell you can't work non-union, but if they don't have the jurisdiction, how can they tell union people, you know, if they want money or they want to do background or they want to work?
It's an interesting point.
And also,
You
it's
know?
like it used to be
Background now.
$750 to join. Now it's $4,000
yeah.
to join.
But background is working on that now. There's a group up there on Facebook too, and I've talked to a lot of the background. I became a delegate. I ran for the board, but I didn't make it. But these are the things that need to be told, and especially as
So
I mean, you-
background people will make more than the.
No, not really. But
No.
they're not. They're on the bottom of the totem pole. If they go a certain distance, they're not covered. Where the
Right.
actor is,
What the actor is.
you know, they
So
just.
they don't have as good a deal as.
And today, the biggest majority in the union is background people.
Right. And
You know that.
but
no, I didn't know that.
But
So,
not only that, the background thing is
Yeah.
also,
they're kind of a socialistic union.
well,
Something.
what's happened is though, and I complained about it one time because there was a skating job, and one of the the big one for background,
you
central
mean the union?
casting.
Yeah.
Central casting.
Okay, so you have to be a member, but there was a period of time when you had to pay money, and they would say, "Oh, we only pay for your picture." Well, it doesn't cost them $25, and I've got pictures. Well, to digitally, do this and put
It
you
costs
in our
nothing. It
system.
takes 2 seconds.
Right. Okay. So then they got it so that they couldn't charge anybody anymore to register to do background work. So that was one improvement. But if you're not a member, and this is what I am really frustrated about, is that if you're not a member of Central Casting or a call-in service or something like
You
that,
pay for them call-in
and you
services
pay for the call-in services
monthly.
So monthly, and
How much is that?
I don't know.
65,
I
something
don't-
like
$65
that.
bucks
So-
a month.
Oh, I don't know
And
because
that's more than what you'd make.
right
half
on a
the
job.
time.
Yeah, and so anyway, all these people, are talking about it, but they'll put on like LA Casting, which is the breakdown service that actors subscribe to.
Yeah, I'm on LA
Okay,
Casting,
all right.
Actors Access.
Yes, right. Okay. I don't see it as much on Actors Access, but I do see it all the time on LA Casting. If you are not a member or whatever, registered, that's it, with Central Casting, you can't even submit for anything. Like, I saw stuff with skating, so I figured, well, even at this age, at least I can lace up my skates and I have my own skates, so I've got to be better than anybody else, and it'll give me an excuse to go skating for the day. I couldn't even audition I couldn't even submit because I
That
was
is
not
just
registered.
that's just wrong.
A lot of this, I'm gonna
wrong.
forward this to Clyde who's the local president, of
Oh,
you know,
right, yeah.
I'm gonna put this in his email. I want to send it to a few other.
Oh, I
at
have
SAG.
complained. I've complained to
Well, we
AFTRA
need people to
and
complain.
You
SAG.
complained to AFTRA also?
Oh, I complained. I really complained after because I think these were after shows or something. And I complained about that. And I said, I mean, if I'm a member of the union and I'm paying dues and I'm paying, LA Casting to
Yeah,
subscribe.
you put up so many pictures, then
Right.
you have to pay for them. And then if you put up...
Well, if you want to submit, you
There
have
are
to
some
pay.
people
Yeah.
over there. Ileana,
Yeah.
who's the head of all the staff,
Uh-huh.
is someone you might want to get in touch with, and she will help you. I know that. I forgot her middle name and last name. I know it's Ileana, and
But I think that's just wrong.
it's
And I mean,
of course it's wrong.
They went for one union, and they did. They got the one union, but it seems that there are fewer jobs now.
Because
and
there's
it
more
almost-
people.
Yeah, well, a lot of people. I
Oh,
think
and
there
there's
was a lot
jobs
of.
that aren't even jobs. I went out for something that I found on Actors Access, and it was also on LA Casting. I go someplace on Highland. I go in, I audition, and they put me on film. And then I get a call from them saying, you should buy this film that we did on you. You should purchase this, because you can look at it and you.
Oh, wait, that's
and it
past.
wasn't even a real project that I was going up for. They never did it. It was like a phony baloney thing. It was just a way to rip off actors.
My friend
It was
calls
just
it.
terrible.
A friend of mine.
You think
oh,
that
this
LA
is-
Casting and Actors Access would filter through and see what's legit and what isn't legit?
Oh, they don't.
It's like they
and
don't know. Anybody can put up anything.
Well, I'll tell you one show that I think is just really a horrible show, and that's Hell's Kitchen. That one is so terrible because that one, if you, they want you to come, and I thought it would be kind of fun to see how they, just to be an audience person, and you have to park. You have to give them a valet parking. Well, I don't like valet parking, period, because I don't want anyone having access.
To get in and out of your car.
Right.
Because
Let me
I
finish.
use my car as like another room.
Thank you. I have so much stuff in there
Me too.
that, plus my skates, and paperwork.
Wardrobe,
Paperwork,
pictures,
too, though. I mean,
resumes,
legitimate.
bills. You're
Well,
gonna
the bills they
pay.
can pay. They can pay the bills. Here, take the bills. But the thing is, if you don't, and they don't tell you that in advance, that,
You have to use valet
the
parking.
valet
and there's
parking.
no other parking unless you
and,
use it.
And so then I went to another building and I asked if I could park there. And they go, well, you can't be part of the audience because, you either have to do it our way or you're not doing it. And I left. And I did complain to, it was either, I think it was LA Casting that it had it on there.
Yeah, that should have it should have been, there should have been a note saying you have to park in a certain place to do
Right.
the show.
Right. Or,
I mean, you gotta
we
be
have
informed.
to, yes. I mean, and the other thing I remember one time, and I think enough people complain, so now they do have to do it, is if there's smoking or, any kind of smoke or if there's nudity in the project. I remember going on an audition once, and the woman comes out and says, by the way, there's nudity. And I go, not for my part. I mean, no one is going to pay to see my body, And I said, I don't have enough money to pay you to do a nude scene, okay? And so, or to get a body double. And so anyway, I was really upset about that. And I contacted them and I said, this isn't fair. So now I see where it says
They'll say nudity is
nudity.
required.
And another
Yeah.
one, I was on a project and I
Well,
was...
you probably were responsible for fixing that.
Well, I don't know if I was, but I also know that there was a project that I did, and they said, oh, it's this really good director, and it's like, I didn't know, And so anyway, we go on there, and it's supposed to be a still photo shoot. Okay, you figure, how long can this be? Oh, by the way, we're doing a video as well. All right, you figure, okay, so they're doing it as a video as well. Who knows, whatever. All right, I'm there. I'm getting paid. If they want to do both, I'm not going to, really complain too much about it. Well, then, oh, and by the way, we're going to have a little smoke. So if they use the smoke machines, those are just vapors, you know.
Yeah.
So they're not going to hurt you, really.
Yeah, no, they just kind of.
Okay, so they started off
Actually,
there,
they
and they
laxative.
said,
They make you go to the bathroom.
and oh really? Oh.
Yeah.
So anyway, they and so anyway, they come out with cigarette smoke. Well, I'm like definitely
Cigarette smoke?
I was
They're blowing cigarette smoke at you?
and I'm like really allergic. So my eyes are starting to well
burn.
right,
and
and my
red.
throat. Then they came out with the cigars. Well, by this time my throat's totally
What were they
closing
doing?
up.
Were they shooting like a cigar,
What was it?
cigarette commercial
Well,
or something?
No, well, I don't even know what they were shooting. It
What
was
did you have
supposed
to
to have
do?
been well, it was supposed to have been a period piece.
Yeah.
And now I don't even remember, you know, how it transitioned because I'm like gagging. And finally, I just went up to the person who was on the set, who was in charge, and I said, "Look, I go, I've never walked off the set," and I said, "Even if you don't pay me, I don't care, but either get me out of here now or call 911 because we're right there, you know." And I really complained about that, and it's like, "Oh, well, we'll give you a $10 smoke bump." Yeah, well, what about my $100,000 hospital bill? You know,
Yeah.
where's the bump for that? And so, so they, you know, so I think now, if enough people do complain, and I really recommend people complaining.
Yeah, if you can get them on the phone because you're listening to a recording for an hour.
Oh yeah, but I mean, also complain to, I mean, LA Casting, Actors Access, all of them, SAG, everybody now. Because
if you go out and audition,
Well, this will
and
go out
something
there now.
happens,
People will hear
you've
this.
Gotta
It's gonna-
like, you gotta call. You have to say this happened to me, or even write a letter. You can't get them by phone.
Well-
I just went out for this role, and it was
well,
at this
email.
address.
Remember, everything's electronic. Nobody reads letter.
When you see
Probably
this show,
right.
that people they
Probably
should
right.
respond to what you're talking about.
Probably
right.
Otherwise,
Everything.
nothing will happen.
Well, a friend of mine, it's great. He is like so talented. Has been in the business. His mom was a head writer at Universal and everything. So he really talented guy. Michael Chain. Michael, see, I told you I'm going to get your name out there. Anyway, he
Who
calls
is
it.
Michael Chang?
Well, actually, you should know him. Do you remember the original group of the Knack? They were signed to Capitol Records. They were only like 16, I think, at the time.
Singers.
And, yeah. And then that was a big deal because it was also around the same time as the Beatles. And they said either get rid of them because Capitol wanted to kind of have a younger group just in case, you know. And so, anyway, it was just a horrific time for them. And then I was, I was gone and kind of really didn't see any of those people. But they were great. And then he was doing music for a long time. Then he went into acting and writing and everything, but he grew up in that. I mean, his family was in the business when he was born. So anyway, he got into that, but now I'm working with him and some of the best people from the improv group Mice.
Okay.
And so that's really fun. And so I love improv. That's my favorite. And so anyway, he calls it wallet-ectomy. He goes, that's what actors go through. It's a wallet-ectomy. Because everybody is trying to get money from you. I mean, you're paying your dues.
Oh yeah, the
You're
dues.
paying for
Pictures,
actors.
and you want a
actors.
picture,
Everything
a
is
new
about
picture off.
taking your
Everything.
money
Right.
and giving you
And-
nothing
right.
for it.
Right.
And all these workshops, and you know, if you don't go to the workshops, the
Well-
casting directors are going to have you in.
Well,
if you
and
don't go to the
legally, they're
classes.
not supposed to be able to do that.
But they do it.
Legally,
But
and I
legally, are you
complained-
sure about that?
Yes,
because I
because-
called
okay,
and asked.
Stanley Livingston, do you remember Stanley Livingston from My Three Sons?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He has a program out there that he tried to get through SAG and AFTRA called The Actor's Journey, and it talks about that thing. And according to California state law, you cannot pay to be hired, which means
They got
casting
us.
directors.
They're like just.
Let her
they're-
finish. Go ahead.
somebody
Casting directors legally are not allowed to hire you if you're taking their workshop or go to a seminar and you're paying.
But they get
and you know
around that.
something, they get around it by not hiring you.
Well,
And
no,
then everybody
yeah, right.
who comes into town,
Right.
they think they have to do all these things because it's how many people want to be actors.
Everybody.
You should get in
Everybody
get in
wants to
touch
be
with
an
them
actor. So they
you
take
come back
advantage
with
of
him and
roles.
come back with him, and we'll do a show on that. But I want to talk a little. We only have a few minutes left.
Yeah, that would be
I want
great
to talk
if
a
you
little bit
come
about
back
your,
with him.
improv comedy that you do. Do you do?
I love
my
improv.
my
It's
cousin
favorite
Camille
thing.
Solari. I don't know if you know her. She does a lot at the Comedy Store and stuff like that. How do you? Now that's an interesting profession.
Improv or comedy?
Well, both, I
We're
guess.
acting every day. The thing that is great about improv is rule number one in acting is, rule number one is reacting. It's not
Right.
acting, it's reacting. And the other thing is listening. And in improv, if you're not listening, it's not going to go anywhere. Because you need a passive person and an aggressive person, or if you're having two passive people, where's it going to go? If you have two aggressive people, you have to know, and it's really timing, and you have to really be able to relax and feel it and sense it and know the timing of things. Otherwise, you're talking on top of each other, you're pushing each other, and it's not funny, and it's, it's like, ooh, this is uncomfortable.
How long did it take you to be comfortable with that? In the training?
Actually, improv, I was always comfortable with it. And again, I guess I would attribute it to skating from timing.
Yeah,
And you would know
timing.
from
Yeah.
dancing and just a good sense of it. And,
But the average layman, how?
I think each person is different. I really couldn't speak for anyone else. I always try and work with the best people out there, and that's why it was kind of a
Who are some of the
strange
best people, if you
serendipitous-
can name them?
Well, Michael Cheen is really one of the best, and some of the people in his, his troupe. And as a matter of fact, nowadays, most of these reenactment shows, that's what they want. Even though they're loosely scripted, but if
They
you're
depend
strong-
on the actors.
yeah, they depend on the actor. So if you're the type of actor who can only rely on lines, you're in big trouble these days. I mean, that's another way how acting has really changed, because improv is so strong. And I had an agent one time say, well, you better get in an improv class. And I go, not to worry. That is my strength, because my web series, Camp Elaine, is all improv. So,
So it is a web series. Good.
yeah. And so everybody go hit YouTube Camp Elaine. I'm almost at 20,000. So
Wow.
I only need 346 or something left. So keep hitting it. And tell your friends to keep hitting it. So yeah, I'm trying to get it to 20,000. That was just my own personal goal, and it's really close. It's at 19,656 or 54.
In the last couple of minutes, what is it about?
Well, Camp Elaine is just that. It's a character. It's a likable character. Hopefully, you all like her. Who just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Just kind of an innocent person at the wrong place at the wrong time. Not kind of clueless.
Is it you alone, or is it?
Oh no, there are people.
cast?
That's why they have to. Well, different people. I mean, in the different shows that
Is it
I've
like the
had.
Perils of Pauline or something like that?
No, not really. It's just kind of, I don't know. Everyone says it's kind of a cross between a modern day Lucy or Imogen Coco or somebody like that, which is, it's kind of, I have a beginning, middle, and end, and it's a sketch, but now it's the microwave world. So, now they want it down to 2 minutes. So that's why I'm working with this improv group, Mice, and we're going to do some new things.
So each episode is about 2 minutes long?
No, well, the ones that are on YouTube now range from about 6 minutes to about 11 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so you just have an idea of where you want to go with it, and kind of organically it unfolds. And
Wow.
I started it originally in like the mid to late 90s, and I was working at the Pasadena Playhouse doing a show, and also in some classes, and I used a lot of those people, and there were some really good improv people there, and so it was really fun, and we developed different characters, and then, I don't know, the road took different turns, and I really wanted to go back to it, because I really love the character, and it's just, sometimes she's helpless, sometimes she knows what she wants, like crashing the audition. That's the one that's almost at 20,000. Again, go to YouTube, Camp Elaine. I did
CAMP
and then Elaine, Elaine.
Camp Elaine,
Right.
not Campy.
Well, that's where
I thought it
everyone.
was Campy Lane.
No,
like,
but
road.
that's where the
See,